Apparently, Cambridge, Massachusetts just voted to shut down its ShotSpotter gunshot detection system, literally right after a major public shooting incident. And honestly, the timing of this looks insane. If you didn't hear about the shooting, a man reportedly walked down Memorial Drive carrying an AR-style rifle and started firing at random vehicles and people. Multiple shots were fired, 2 people were injured, and the situation only ended after a state trooper and an armed civilian stepped in. Now here's the important detail. The shooting reportedly happened outside the ShotSpotter coverage area, so the system itself didn't detect that specific attack. And to be fair, ShotSpotter is controversial. Critics say the technology produces false positives, can lead to unnecessary police escalation, and is disproportionately deployed in minority neighborhoods. There are also concerns about privacy and over-policing. Those are legitimate concerns. But here's where I start asking questions. If certain neighborhoods already experience higher rates of violent crime, whether that's because of poverty, gang activity, broken homes, economic failure, or whatever combination of factors, then wouldn't the people living in those neighborhoods deserve faster emergency response and more tools to help solve shootings? Because the victims in those communities are usually minorities too. That's the part that gets lost in these conversations. Instead, what ends up happening is every discussion turns into, police presence itself is the real problem. Okay, but then what's the actual solution? Because from the outside looking in, it feels like cities keep removing enforcement tools, while simultaneously admitting violent crime is still a major issue. And another thing that raised eyebrows during this debate was the immigration angle. Some opponents of ShotSpotter openly argued that arrests connected to these alerts could expose illegal immigrants to ICE databases and federal immigration enforcement. Now, whether you support sanctuary policies or not, I think average people are still going to ask a pretty simple question. Why should concerns about immigration enforcement outweigh public safety concerns after a major public shooting? And it doesn't mean ShotSpotter is some flawless miracle technology, but removing crime detection systems immediately after a shooting like this sends a message to the public. And I think city officials are underestimating how bad that message looks, especially to ordinary residents who just want safer streets and faster response times when bullets start flying. And honestly, this is part of a bigger problem in modern politics. A lot of city leadership talks endlessly about protecting vulnerable communities from violence, but then opposes nearly every enforcement mechanism designed to respond to that violence in real time. At some point, people are going to ask, what exactly is the plan here? Because less enforcement without an alternative strategy just sounds like gambling with public safety.